I'm Mark Doty. Behind me is the Korg MS-20. Really fantastic monophonic analog synthesizer. The Korg MS-20 is a really strange synthesizer. I do not know what the fine people at Korg were thinking when they made it. It was so kind of behind the time, sort of not in the time, and so ahead of its time during its time that it's a bafflement. It really is. First of all, you got to look at it. It looks like aviation test equipment, and this was not the design ideal of the time. It was very strange. It was like Korg took their PS3100 design and just sort of squished it into this little weird metal box. Metal and plastic box. You know, everything else was metal and wood and had this, you know, large feel to it. But no. So they made this thing, and not only that, but they pursued this bizarre, we're going to make this as if it were modular. It's really not modular. I mean, I think even semi-modular is kind of misleading, because these aren't modules over here. It doesn't make the section that are vaguely like modules act like modules. This is just an expanded means of controlling the synthesizer. These are just extra ports that allow you to reroute what the synthesizer does. There are some more modular sections, like for example, the sample and hold is pretty modular, but in general, I think that even the term semi-modular is a little bit misleading, because it's really not modular. These are not individual modules. However, having this sort of routing capability is extremely helpful. And it's so weird too. It's like Korg thought it would be, it's like they wanted to give you so much more functionality, but instead of knobs, they just thought, we'll just put jacks. We don't have time for this. Just jacks. They can do it themselves. We don't have enough knobs. Let them do it. They can decide. But it's like they okay, yeah, this functionality you want, you do it. We'll make it so you can do it. We don't have time to actually build these things, you know. They had to cram everything in, and I imagine they ran out of room for knobs, so they just went to the jacks. Anyway. But having access to all those jacks and what those jacks do greatly expands the functionality of the synthesizer and makes it the great synthesizer it is. The main thing about the MS-20 is that the MS-20 is a synthesizer that definitely has its own sound. Now, I know a lot of people are skeptical and think that all synthesizers sound alike, and the notion that one synthesizer has a sound that's different or better than another synthesizer is some sort of means to, I don't know, some sort of synthesizer class warfare. But really, what we're looking at with the MS-20 is the fact that it has not only a low-pass resonant filter, but it also has a high-pass resonant filter. And both of them are 12 decibel per octave, which gives a very characteristic sound. And when you hear the thing, you hear an MS-20. You're like, that sound, that is an MS-20 sound. Because very few synthesizers of that time, or, you know, certainly at that time, had both a resonant low pass and a resonant high pass, especially in the configuration that it is on the MS-20. And it makes for a really unique sound, and it makes for the sound that you constantly want to do. You're always messing with it. So, and then the people at Korg designed this thing, and they put all this functionality on it that people really weren't using then, but used in the future. Like, for example, the external signal processor. It's like they knew that someday people would have loops, and that someday people would want to process loops, because it's so designed to be like this processing, a techno processing tool before techno, you know, ever was. Yeah. So, and in general, it just has this really grating, aggressive sound, not grating in a bad way. It just has a very aggressive sound that was not what synthesizers were supposed to sound like in that time. They were just really looking ahead, it seems. But it's got, the MS-20 has all the functionality you would initially need, and the ability to create a lot of the functionality that you would need in addition to the functionality it has. And it's all in a small, compact box with its own unique sound. What more could you look for in a synthesizer? I've made a number of videos about the functionality of the synthesizer, how it operates and how it sounds. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm not going to put those videos on YouTube. I'm going to put those videos on tv.sonicstate.com. I'm going to put the MS-20 videos on tv.sonicstate.com. This is Sonic State's new YouTube-like video site. But the good thing about it is, unlike YouTube, it has better video quality and stereo sound, and that makes for a more authentic synthesizer demo experience. So for me, it's a better place to be posting these videos. So, while I love YouTube and I love what YouTube has done, Sonic State, their video site is more directed towards musicians and synthesizer users like you and I, which is much more beneficial for me to show you how these things sound, because you're actually hearing the sound. You're not hearing what YouTube does to my nicely stereo tracks. Anyway, so tv.sonicstate.com is where you will see the MS-20 series I'm going to do. But before that, I will show you a few cool sounds that you can do with the MS-20. Thank you.
Wow.